Hold on. Before you watch the rest of the video, I have a new site on Tippy where you can see lots of unseen videos and more. Link in description. Don't miss out. Join the team and enjoy the video.
If I'm missing anybody, but there's
Yeah,
your director of maintenance,
directors, correct.
your director of custodial, you know, it's a huge pay family.
Right, and
and
so
it's all on one pay scale.
Right, I just think it's good for us to point out, we've got a lot of people that are in those categories that don't fall on that teacher, pay scale that we're also talking about trying to give raises to. And so, I just wanted that to kind of come out into, like, here's what we're talking about on these three different
Coordinators
columns.
are on that, assistant directors are on that.
I want to remind y'all too, we've got several different categories on the teacher pay scale that aren't part of House Bill 2. So when we gave you the scenarios of the 2,500 and the 5,000, all of those folks that are on that teacher pay scale, it takes all of us and their role in our district. And so I've never, as a superintendent, proposed different raises for different public schools. So prior to this year, in 24-25 school year, a school district had to take action as a board to opt in is good enough, then our classroom should be good enough. That's just where I personally sit on it. There's not a lot. I've tried to do a quick search. I've seen a number at one point in time, roughly 50 districts out of the 1,200 in the state had allowed the participation. So it has not.
Bring it to workshop first. We always bring it to workshop first and let you ponder it and then vote on it the next meeting.
It's the state that maybe, pinch the district, put them in a bad spot, and so they recommend the updates. I guess technically you could say no, but then you're kind of exposing yourself to something that's happened somewhere potentially.
Dang lawyers.
You got to have the attendance committees though, so those are good.
And it's a little question. So if they aren't required to be in the seats and we have to prove TEKS mastery, is that grades for high school kids? Or, I mean, we
Can look at all kinds of unique, it's very spelled out in the long side of it. Every situation is unique and the committee is now required to look at every unique situation. The committees already did that.
Right.
So it's kind of funny. I think part of the issue that this came up is because some school districts really weren't doing the committee. Some school districts really weren't doing the committees as with fidelity, and we've done that for a long time, so.
Welcome to our regularly scheduled meeting, Tuesday, June 17th, 2025, 7 o'clock. Call to order, declaration of a quorum, 6 members present. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for being here. Welcome to the meeting of the College Station Independent School District Board of Trustees. We are elected at large to represent the interests of our community and our state in educating our students. Our mission for our students in this district is success each life, each day, each hour. We adhere to all pertinent laws, policies, and procedures in posting agendas and conducting our meetings. The detailed agenda information was made available to us at least 72 hours in advance. We've all come to this meeting informed and prepared. We've just completed a workshop meeting where we heard reports and discussed much of the information needed to make decisions in either this meeting or in upcoming meetings. This is a meeting of the 7 trustees in a public setting rather than a public meeting. As such, public comment is included on the agenda at a specific time and requires us to listen rather than take action so as to abide by the Open Meetings Act. We're pleased that you have taken the time this evening to join us. We are very proud of this school district, and we thank you for your interest in and support of our students. That will bring us to item C, recognitions.
Update. We currently, as of today, have 27 professional positions that are open, 31 paraprofessional positions that are open. To kind of give you some context, at the end of May, we had 78 professional positions, so we went from 78 to 27. And a year ago, at the end of
The money for MAP, which is a nonprofit organization, right? But they help us get this type of information in aggregate, but also down to the student. Yeah, my big takeaway is that yes, we still have, but at least it's
feedback back, but sometimes you get some really good thought processes or things potentially we hadn't thought about. We'd come back and bring you kind of the core group of suggestions for staffing and adjustments to enrollment at campuses. Just a few things to remember based on current lines, especially at the elementary level. There's some nuances of things up northeast part of town for travel standpoint doesn't make a lot of sense. So Plan 4 is more changes, but it's more succinct and makes a bigger difference, especially with bus transportation and mobility back and forth. The board policy on the 10 to 15%. I understand the policy. In my opinion, it doesn't have to be in policy. It could be in our regulations. But you have to realize here over the next 10 years, just like 10 years prior to, as the dynamics of our city change, to try to keep those percentages in line, you're going to have attendance boundaries that aren't going to make any sense as far as transportation and mobility, because if you're trying to get neighborhoods that are aging neighborhoods that are now more lower income than what they were 20 years ago, it's not going to look like it does now. And so trying to keep those percentages intact, totally understand that, but I'm just telling you logistically 10 and 15 years from now, your lines aren't going to make a lot of sense because the city's going to change. And so that's just something to keep in mind. We'll continue to do whatever you guys want us to do. But if we get questions of why is this here, why is it there, well, you're trying to stay inside the percentage pieces. And that's kind of where we're closer on the middle school than the intermediate. So we just need some feedback from you guys. We'll get it back from the community and figure out kind of where we want to go. But the board policy, in my opinion, moving forward is going to be problematic in the next 10 years.
Yes, I have a couple comments, and they don't want to change schools. So figuring out what our rules are going to be for family members, or a second grader at an elementary school. I mean, I think that's going to be
is kind of a summary that kind of Heather read through of the roads affected, the neighborhoods affected, and us dig down into the details to make sure that that's readily available, and then our staff would be available as well to answer questions.
And I was not suggesting we give up the online.
That would be my drop dead date.
Okay.
If we could potentially get it done in October, that would be great too. I think a lot of it would depend on feedback. And get down to it, we can manipulate lines a million different ways. I think kind of what we talked about before, we try to stay intermediate and middle school within the 10 to 15% if we can. Get that as close as we possibly can to make that happen. And then at that point in time, there's only slight adjustments that we're going to be able to make. The other big one too in the elementary is like I said, Plan 4 is more, or is it Plan 4 or 5?
Elementary?
Yes, if 5 was the bigger cleanup. 5 is a bigger cleanup. I mean, there's more adjustments there, but it's cleaner from a transportation line standpoint. It makes a little bit more sense and takes us out to a pretty good picture over the next 6 years.
Yeah.
And the other
this
thing
is-
with Plan 5, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but there was still one more pocket up top. So there's this little piece right here that you can see that's in College Hills that actually goes all the way down to Forest Ridge. But then when you look at Pebble Creek and Forest Ridge, that could be switched back later on as they grow. So it would be least amount of adjustments later. They might last, the boundaries might last more than 6 years. Sorry for interrupting.
I would say, obviously this is something that absolutely has to be done to use the resources of the district most efficiently and to honestly make it more fair for our principals and teachers and other administrators at these campuses that are blowing up. Yeah, and I understand the socioeconomic balancing and so forth, but as we go through this process, I would just ask the board to think about the individual kid who is on a bus for an hour a day, both way, 2 hours a day, so forth. The parent who has got to drive from the College Hills area down to Forest Ridge. It's, there's no easy answers like a lot of things, but that hard and fast socioeconomic rule might be something we want to look at, just at least at the elementary level, and because there's a lot of that kind of.
Well, it's not in the policy for the elementary levels, right? So we're not even looking at it for elementary levels. It's more of a neighborhood school.
School in a way instead of a 2-year school. And so I think it's for those numbers to work out perfectly.
So if you look at,
I'm a product of educators. I grew up in it. I still live in it. It's never enough. It's never enough. If we paid teachers as much as we pay pro athletes, it'd be a whole different ballgame. We all know that. But it's never enough. But this is something, I appreciate
See the change in our fiscal year, and I think I've said this several times, but despite the best efforts of my math teachers, I fell off the math train at way too early. In result of that, on the back end, next year, would we end up having
deficit. So a 10-month budget, no, it's not. It's a one-time infusion into fund balance. Then it's no more money, but if you're looking at a fund balance, yes, it is. For accounting purposes, it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Depending on how the year were, I mean, right now, we're looking at potentially $2.1 million deficit. Technically be a little more, if depending on, conditions and weather and stuff like that. So it's a pretty solid number, but the number could also go down.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Brings us all the way to K1. Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Consider approval of the purchase over $50,000 for commissioning the Rock Prairie addition / renovation project. Mr. Buckner.
All right, mine hopefully will be easy. So y'all know we're doing an addition renovation project at Rock Prairie Elementary. It is all new building controls. We're getting new chillers. We're getting some new HVAC in there. And part of that is commissioning and testing and balance. Commissioning kind of ensures that the building is intended and meets the design guidelines and our owner requirements for the building to operate efficiently. And testing and balance ensures that the HVAC system is operating efficiently and as it is designed as well in the best methods possible. So this is to have that building commissioned during the project and at the end of the project to ensure that it is one of our more efficient ones in the district and carry that through to the other.